set the ending up for like maximum emotional reflection. Like the credits roll and you're like, oh yeah, so play literally. What does that mean to me? And the lights come up and now you're,
Before you know it, here we
are, and you're like, it really does make the movie much worse. Because we worked so, you think about it, we worked so hard trying to be like, oh yeah, don't take the movie seriously, like, even we don't care about it, like it has such an insouciant, we don't care. And then the ending was like, oh no, we really care deeply, and you should too. And every single screening we do a Q&A at, we erase that entire feeling immediately.
It's not fully
But
erased.
right now, there's Jay's beautiful, we transition out of Waters of March into Jay playing a very restrained piano theme on his own that he wrote, not Back to the Future, like just he's at a piano playing, you spent months on it, it's playing right now. And instead, it's just the lights.
You can see it on the DVD.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you some things that would be of interest to you for the Nirvana band fans. The first is that the movie you just saw is not the movie that Eon is going to release in February.
Well, I mean, to a degree.
No. And so, if now that you've seen it, you have seen this is a very unique edit because this is also not what we screened at South by Southwest, and it's not what we screened at Toronto. This was like an edit of the movie that we made just for the tour, but that's just because we work in generations. And so what gets released is like, I won't say very different.
No, it's for, you know what, the real nerds in the audience
will
notice a little thing.
They'll notice the things have changed, and there's a new ending. Like once these credits are done, you'll see nothing happens, but in theaters, something happens.
Let's open it up to some questions.
No.
Not yet? Oh, yeah, of course.
You and I,
we had an announcement.
Exactly. We are ending Nirvana band forever. And Jay and I, this is the last thing that we're going to do together.
And you're the lucky audience to see the very last
live appearance of me and Jay.
Yeah. Well, it's actually kind of sad.
Yes.
We don't really want to celebrate it.
Oh, you know what? I think I should maybe answer a few questions that I know people always ask, because you notice people always ask, like, did you jump off the CN Tower? What happened to Drake's house?
I don't really want to.
Also, I don't want to say some of the
want
answers.
so much that we've been doing this. This is a very unique audience that might have unique questions. Of course, they're really nice to say questions.
So people always are like, at one point there's somebody who feels bad for Jay and is like, I love the music, tell me a story about the music. So we'll do that one first. Jay, normally...
Do you not like when people ask me about the music?
I am the one bringing it up. I'm about to tell the whole audience how difficult
Well,
it is.
then you will give me the platform and space to answer.
I'm about to ask you the question.
And I'm about to answer.
Jay, normally in Nirvana the band...
Okay, hold on, wait, this is going to get hurtful.
No. We always just use the actual score, whether it's John Williams in Jurassic Park, or John Williams in Star Wars, or John Williams in Home Alone. And we just use the real score here. Why didn't we just use the actual Back to the Future score?
That's a really good question. Because this was a movie, we had to sort of go a little more, what's the word? Like, we had to be above board in so many more ways. And when we were about 2 months out of South by Southwest, and Matt Miller, our producer, said, Jay, we can't use any of the real Back to the Futures. You have to score the whole movie yourself. And I had 2 months to do it. And so it was a huge challenge, but it was really, really fun. And I got to do the whole score and sort of just go nuts with the score.
Isn't the score amazing?
The score is really cool.
It's one of my favorite things about the movie. That you watch it, you're like, oh, is this Back to the Future? No, it's not.
It's just the octatonic scale being abused. Yeah.
I also realized that if you didn't know what this movie was when you sat down, and now you feel trapped, because now we're here and you're like, I didn't like this movie, and these guys doing live shtick is worse, you have permission to go. You're not going to insult us.
And it really, okay, yeah.
No, trust me. We were just in Philadelphia, where they screened this at a film festival, and there was like 9 or 10 people who thought this was a documentary about the band, and midway through the Q&A, you could see they just had no. They were like, these guys, first of all, if you don't like this, you really hate it. I'm sure you must know this. I hear from all people all the time, I tried to show my friends, they hated it. They thought it sucked so bad.
And we can see you right now. Like, I can scan the room. It doesn't really look like I'm clocking it, but I see smiles, and then I see nothing.
Yeah, people who are like, what?
Bear with us. I think we really should, just to balance the scales a little bit right now.
Let's talk.
Well,
What? If you guys have questions, now's the time.
yeah, let's do some questions. Over there, in the mask.
Hi, first of all, my friend Kay worked Dora at the Rivoli in the web series finale. She says hello.
Hello.
Wait,
and also,
she worked the door. Oh, Kate.
Kate Millen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
credited in the, yeah. She says hi.
Hello.
And then also, given the Criterion posters and the mention of the DVD earlier, what special features would you want included on a release of this movie?
Nirvana Band is funny with special features because oftentimes special features in DVD are like the mistakes or the things that weren't meant to happen, and we often write the movie around those mistakes.
Yeah.
So they're often in the movie, but
There's a lot of deleted scenes.
yeah, and what the DVD
Really
of this
good ones,
movie will
too.
show, what Kurt and I love doing is basically showing the like edges of edits that are in the movie and show you like exactly what happened right after we cut. So a good example is when we crash the RV and I go flying and hit my ass. In real life, that is the worst I've ever been injured by far. If I hadn't hit my exact center of my left butt cheek, I would probably be paralyzed. My butt, a week after I hit that, because I hit the metal chassis of the chair. So when I wake up and I'm going, my ass, I hit my ass, that is inside joke between me and my friends about how hard I really did hit my ass. My entire lower body turned purple. It was so crazy. It was a grievous injury, and we'll show that in the DVD. Who else has a question? You right there. Yeah.
Hi. So much of this feels like it's like done in the edit. How much is actually on the page before you guys start shooting?
There's not much of a page because normally I mentioned this last night when I was talking to some people about the movie. What's great about, for all the filmmakers in this audience, you'll know what I mean. When you have a small enough team, the script or what it is that you're shooting actually lives in everyone's mind. And I know that sounds bizarre, but because it's being updated so constantly and because you talk about it all the time, we never refer to something on paper ever when we're going to shoot. Jay, myself, Jared, Nikolai, who's one of the other camera operators, Luca, Matt Grayson, and then Kurt and Bobby, the editors. We have a kind of, it's almost like software, or a way that we talk about it sometimes, it's almost like we all have a dream. And you don't totally have all the pieces of the dream, but together you do have it. When we're writing episodes of the show, or when we wrote this movie, here's how it actually feels. You all sit in a room with your friends, and you start talking. And then little tiny pieces of it fill in other pieces of what seems like a dream that you all collectively had the night before, but you can't remember. And so it would be like if all of us in this audience slowly realized that we all had the same dream last night. And as I said certain things about it, everybody would remember, oh yeah, that wasn't a dream. And then you could say something about it, be like, and then did we go up the stairs? And then we all go, yes, we went up the stairs. And so it updates itself as it goes.
Or somebody will be like, no, not the stairs. We took the elevator.
And
Everyone goes,
yes, it was the elevator. And it's so
Everyone's
strange.
an authority for some, like anyone who's kind of in that little hive mind.
And no one's in charge. And that's what's so great about it. And so it's like the script is not written, it's remembered. Which doesn't make any sense, because of course, how could it be remembered? Because no one ever came up with it. But that's what winds up happening. And when we're shooting, a perfect example is when Jay and I got through security with those pliers, and he didn't ask us about the parachutes, and all of a sudden we were through with everything. Everybody immediately updated what the movie was about, without us even needing to talk to one another. It was like, okay, well now we're going up to jump off the CN Tower, which we did not plan on doing. So
It's got to be light on your feet. And to answer your question too about the editing, is that we've been doing this for so long where yes, like in the web series and the TV show, there were so many huge eureka moments that happen in the editing and then get kind of presented as like, oh, what if this actually happens and something gets invented, like a new reality that we didn't even intend, becomes the reality in editing. And we've known that that's been our process for so long that now when we shoot, we kind of know how to almost serve up ingredients for the editing to sort of like just think maybe this could work, and like almost like a dream, like this seems like an ingredient of the dream, of part of this memory, and oftentimes it does get used in a context that you didn't even intend for it to be used. That's kind of the fun that we're having.
How old are you? You? You're 7. What are you doing here? Your parents brought you?
Did you like the movie?
Really?
We're happy.
What, in your own words, what was this movie about?
What's your favorite episode of the show?
What you asked her what her favorite episodes, she's seen episodes of the show?
All of the Vice series, not the web series.
Yeah, the web series is too edgy. It was too edgy. Don't show the web series. I'm so impressed. You're 7 years old and you are a
You
fan.
might be our youngest fan.
I think you are without a doubt. There's absolutely no question. What's your name? Maddie? Same as me. Yeah, you may as well stand up and say hi to everybody.
Yeah, so
you can see Maddie.
everyone clap for Maddie.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, well let's
ask you more questions of Maddie.
Right here.
All right.
So I picked
What
up
is that?
Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow.
Good,
and,
that's a great game.
Right now it's hard because I only have a double jump.
Yes,
like
yes,
there's
yes,
supposed
yes.
to be a triple jump in this game.
You're hilarious.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do have an actual question.
Yes.
I thought it was like really interesting, like the way you use like archived like outtakes and footage of the original web show, and I was wondering like, did you come up with that idea like before like right at the start of the movie?
When you say that we used archived, like
Our old stuff.
our old stuff.
Yeah.
We did know that as a concept that we were going to say, because we were doing a time travel movie, we were like, oh my god, we'll use our old footage.
But we didn't know at the time when we shot it. We had no clue.
We maybe were trying to remember things, but what we've always been answering this by giving it up to our editors, Kurt Bobby, who painstakingly went through all of our old little tapes that we shot in 2006 to 9. And there was like over 100 hours because we used to just shoot nonsense, and like we had zero like intention a lot of times with what we were shooting, and so there was just tons of bullshit like on these tapes, and they went through every second of it and logged anything that was pertinent to maybe becoming part of the time travel story, and then through those sort of highlights they wrote and put them in an order to sort of write that whole 2008 sequence, and then we went and shot it.
Yeah, there was way more. You're
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
like maybe 10% of what they planned to have us shoot. There was all kinds of crazy.
We were chasing ourselves around the city, we were going in and out
I've
of
forgotten
restaurants.
the best scene that we shot, which was actually amazing, where when we first get back to 2008, we remember that we had found the orbits in Chinatown. And we shot this amazing scene where Jay and I, well, I'll tell you how we shot it, because that'll make it more fun. Jay and I go in as ourselves, we talk with the staff in this like hardcore, it's like in New York, like it's a Chinatown grocery store where it's just madness. It's like a wet market. It's insane what's in there. And we went in, we already set up a bottle of orbits that we just left in there. And we
Not a
picked-
bottle, a box.
A box of orbits.
Yeah.
We picked it up, we went to the front.
And we put
said,
like the like a whole Chinese
price tag on it.
price
Like our
tag.
art director built it so it
We
looks like they
snuck
actually
it
sold
into
it.
their inventory.
And we went in, we were really friendly, and we were not on camera, and we bought this, we were like, oh, you guys sell these orbits? And they're like, yeah, I guess. And we paid for them, we put a price tag on them, we bought it, and then went goodbye, and made a big presentational deal about us meeting all the
And
staff.
then 10 minutes later,
We run in like this, and we're like, okay, and we're acting real quiet, now we're on camera, we're looking around, and then we go and we look to where the orbits were, we look,
I remember, it was right here.
and we get
Oh,
a
we
staff
got it.
member over that we already talked to, said, hey, do you guys sell orbits? And they were like, yeah, you bought them. And we went, what? And they went, you were just here. And Jay and I looked at one another, oh, we were just here?
It plays so well for like time travel, like just missing ourselves.
And
And
the
the real
effects-
person was just sort of looking at us.
Blown
as
away.
if it was being done.
Like, of course you were just here. And so it was this unbelievable, like, $1 million effect where the whole store was like, you guys are just here, you ran in here, you bought the orbits. What are you talking about? And of course, Jay and I are trying to play it cool. And that was just one of the things that got cut out. But again,
Heartbreaking cuts in this movie. There's tons of stuff like
it's
that.
too long as it is.
Yeah.
It's too long as it is. Next question. Way at the back, with the glasses. Yeah.
First, I just recently watched JFK for the first time.
Great movie. It's a huge inspiration to this
Well,
movie.
at your request, you were talking about it, like Operation Avalanche. You guys were like doing like a round table kind of thing, like post-mortem maybe with like a couple of highlights, and you recommended it.
Yes, it was a huge influence on Operation Avalanche too.
Yeah, not at all relevant to this question. I just love that movie.
Mm.
But I recall within like the last year or two, there was talks of the movie being a little bit more centered around Confederacy of Dunces.
Yes.
And then this was clearly a little bit more Back to the Future. I'm curious if there was any interplay, if that still exists somewhere, or if that's just...
The original version of this movie was a Confederacy of Dunces parody. And we tried to recreate the plot of Confederacy of Dunces in New Orleans, beat for beat. And it was so esoteric and bizarre.
Yeah, there's a point where I'm in the middle of a huge crowd in New Orleans running a hot dog stand.
Literally selling hot dogs to people
Really
on
selling
the
and
street.
cooking them.
Like, we went so far in this, and we were away. We left Canada. We were shooting this for over a month on the road, and the only thing that remains in this movie and that movie is the RV. So we had this RV, we looked at the footage, we were like, oh, this would be better as season 3 episodes. And in one day, we wrote the time travel movie based on the RV, because we were like, that'll just be more fun. And for whatever reason, we were able to do it. Like, we just completely pivoted after shooting an entire movie. We just went, let's instead make this a time travel movie using the RV that we bought and drove around with. So that will be released one day, whenever we are able to release season 3. And you'll get to see the Confederacy of Dunces Nirvana the band parody. It's just bizarre because Confederacy of Dunces doesn't have any music. It doesn't have, there's nothing we can really parody. It's just the plot. And I
But
think
there's a
that's
feeling.
There's a feeling. There's a feeling. It is here's a spoiler. It's half Confederacy of Dunces, half talented Mr. Ripley. And so Jay and I are in a full talented Mr. Ripley parody, and that is also quite exciting. Quite exciting. Yes, you were there.
How does it feel touring the movie right now with the Blue Jays in the World Series?
Yeah, the question is, how does it feel touring where every single Q&A that we do is during the game? We miss every single game because we're doing these Q&As.
Last night's was insane.
It was ridiculous. You guys went to 18 innings.
It was like a record-breaking or tied for the
World
longest
Series, yeah.
baseball game ever.
No, only in World Series.
In World Series, yeah.
How does it feel? Well, look, we love Toronto, and we feel like we're doing our part by doing these Q&As, trying to spread the word about Toronto as much as we can. Has anybody here ever been to Toronto? You know Toronto? You're so close. Yes, Bloor Street. It's okay. Yeah, there's better streets. The sad thing about Toronto, which I probably shouldn't say as well, I was going to say as somebody who loves to advertise Toronto, is that it actually is, unless you're a Nirvana the band fan, it is a difficult place to visit because you don't really know what to do when you get there.
It's not a visiting.
It's not a real good visiting place, but
It's a live place.
if you go there and do a Nirvana the band tour, it's great. You go to all the places we went to, all the places we've been kicked out of. You go to the Rivoli. You're like, why? What the hell?
We
is
gotta
this
make
place?
those, we have to make a brochure map.
We need
Of all the key
This is what you and I are going to do once our career really flames up. We're going to be like Cosmo.
It's gonna be like in a year from now.
Going, driving people around,
Yeah.
being like,
We're
this is where
so
we lived here.
sick of us that we're just relegated to just giving little tours.
There's McDonald's, there's the CN Tower. That is sort of what I do. I notice in the movie whenever I see anybody from out of town, I'm always like, welcome to Toronto, it's so good to see you. And then the one French girl, I'm like, that's the CN Tower. The reason I did that, by the way, to let you into our process, is I needed to say that because in real life, that cable that I'm pulling on is not going up to the CN Tower.
Spoiler.
It's being held in that shot, in that close-up, it's being held by our art director, Malcolm. And he's just off camera holding it. And so to get her to not look at Malcolm, or to be like, why is he holding this cable? I'm pointing out the CN Tower so she'll look at it. And thank God
You
she
see
started
her looking at Malcolm too.
Yeah.
You don't really have.
We should move on to
Yeah,
this
yeah.
topic.
What's over there in the hat? Yeah.
Is this really your last appearance?
What?
Yes, you were right there.
Just to turn back time a little bit, why do you guys choose the Rivoli in the first place?
That is a question that,
That's okay, the very child version of ourselves.
yeah, like we were so young and we moved next to the Ripley, like it just so happened that the apartment we were living at was just down the street. And
You know what, I can say this, there were a few like fundamental things that were established about what Nirvana the band is, that were born of like literally 1 30-second riff that were just like, yeah, and this, yeah, and this, yeah, and this, and then that was it. There's no good answer to it.
But for some reason it endured because it kept our interest. And so why the Ripley? We made it the end of the film. Like the fact that the final image of the movie is writing "Play the Ripley" on a whiteboard that then goes back to the beginning of these guys' journey, for some reason had meaning. And the fact that nobody really knows what it is, that it doesn't seem relevant, seems to be a part of it.
You can put all that meaning on it.
Yeah, so we don't have a clever answer. It just was expedient at the time, and we lived down the street. The Kids in the Hall started there, and that's sort of a Toronto legend that the Kids in the Hall did their first show at the Ripley, but that's
There are
really it.
much bigger and better venues in Toronto, and it sort of added to like
This
the
thing-
naivete of these guys.
I'll put it this way: if you were a teenager growing up in Toronto and you were looking at a place that you realistically could play a show, it would be the Ripley. You would be thinking, oh man, we could go play the Ripley one day. And Jay and I just kind of are frozen there. Like we're still like teenagers, like, well, I would say even younger, prepubescent almost, saying we could play the Ripley, and we just refuse to let go of that.
It also really was just like 2 doors down from, because Matt and I moved into Toronto, right at Queen Spadina, where we thought it was the heart of Toronto.
Mhm.
You still kind of do, and Ripley was just like on the next block.
The place where lightning strikes, like where the cable, where we tied it to that corner right at that McDonald's, where I asked the guy to wait 30 minutes to watch it, and he says,
said
okay. You'll notice he's not there. Like, when the thing does get ripped out of the socket, where the fuck was it? Like, he's sort of the villain of the film. He could have saved my life.
Maybe we get him back for later when we're retelling some
We should have
perspective.
got the libertarian Canadian Tire guy to do it. He was loyal. He wanted to save our life. We have time for one more question before we gotta go. Way at the back.
I'm curious, way back when you first had that 30-second session coming up with this idea, if you knew what you wanted to say as writers and performers, and whether or not that has changed throughout your career?
No.
Well,
Definitely. No, definitely not.
Okay, yeah, but there's a double answer to this. So say what you want to say, and then I have an answer too.
My answer, I think, goes slightly above the question, which is that I think that if you have a vision of what you want to say, literally, you should not make that project.
Yeah.
I think that it's a mistake to do anything where you have a very clear intention of what the quote-unquote message, even vague, is. Jay and I discovered this movie in the same way that you discovered it while watching it. And I know that may seem crazy, but it does go back to this dream analogy, which is that we have no idea what it is. We have no idea what it is that we're trying to say. But just like the Supreme Court's definition of pornography, we know it when we see it, right? And so like we didn't have a plan, but we knew that it excited us,
Yeah,
and
and
talking about it was fun.
With this show, when we came up with it, we intentionally made the sort of structural elements of the show form-fitted to fit whatever ethereal sort of North Star that both Matt and I knew that we were were sort of striving towards. Like we had a dynamic, that dynamic that we have when I'm on the piano and he's just sort of going, whatever you call that. We were doing that when we were kids, and we were just refining that because we thought we were so hilarious, we were making each other laugh. So we did know that we wanted to explore that deeper. We knew there was something there, and it had some sort of like endless revolving door to it. But, so when we wrote the structural parts of this, we knew it was just going to help feed that. But no, we didn't know what we wanted to say. We wouldn't call ourselves writers. We were just channeling something, making each other laugh, trying to do something for the internet that would make our friends laugh that month. And then it just sort of kept going.
Thank you so much for coming to this.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
We're so grateful. We're listening a lot. And we're so appreciative of your attention and your time. We really are. We're humbled by this, and thank you.